I want to show you the raw, behind the scenes, the messy, the real, the true, the honest, the authentic stories of people who are successful and take care of themselves. The elevator pitch of me and my story is I was an ultimate corporate high achiever, kind of climbing the corporate ladder, got promoted, promotion after promotion, have been thriving in the business, not my business, until life literally just had to shake me up. All right, join me for this episode where I welcome you to Resonance. I introduce you to the story that truly birthed the concept of this podcast, and I just really gently nerd out on the nervous system, introducing you to the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, and share how resonance comes into play with that. There's also a little bit of a preview as to my story and what to expect. So really lots of juicy goodies to hear here, and I will leave it at that, let you dive straight in. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Bye. Welcome to Resonance, a podcast for ambitious, heart-led humans craving more balance, depth, and aliveness in their lives. I'm your host, Vic, health coach, yoga teacher, facilitator, and fellow high achiever, learning to live in tune with my nervous system, not against it. And this space is here to remind you that you can have it all. The career, the success, the fulfillment, all aligned with your truth. Through honest conversations, expert insights, and practical tools, we'll explore how to work with your body, mind, emotions, and spirit, not against them. And the best part? You don't have to stay stuck in survival mode to get there. Because true well-being is not about being perfect. It's about being in resonance. Let's dive in. I am so thrilled that you're here, whether you're listening or watching this episode. This is episode 1 of Resonance, the podcast. And I just really want to welcome where we're at right now. I mean, I live in New Zealand, for those of you who don't know. So in the Southern Hemisphere, we're really kind of past that autumn equinox phase. We're really moving into the darkest night of the year, the winter solstice. It is cold. My fingers are freezing. I'm regretting not wrapping my blanket around me right now. And so really kind of, the energies are all just tuning inwards. And I really see it around everyone at work, at home, specific clients of mine. Everyone's just feeling a little bit more tired. Everyone wants a little bit more sleep. And that's quite normal. I mean, in such a fast-paced world, there's so much being demanded of us, and yet normally in a season where all of nature, literally all of nature, the trees, the animals, the whatever is natural, is kind of going into hibernation. It's shedding, it's pausing, it's resting, and often as humans, we find it quite hard to do that. And I find that really interesting. And, I'm no saint in this space either. I struggle with this every single day. And so really, I just wanted to acknowledge where we're at right now. It's been a wild week. Personally, I have come out of really one of my biggest energetic lows. I have been incredibly stressed. There's been a lot going on, and you'll hear about that in sort of the upcoming episodes. But I just really wanted to, take a moment to appreciate that things aren't perfect, and that's okay. And maybe this resonates with you in your life as well. We so often hold these unrealistic expectations of ourselves, and even with this podcast, and kind of felt like, oh, well, this is the right time. I haven't meditated yet. And I was kind of like finding all these little excuses and reasons not to do it. And then I realized that perfection is just another form of procrastination. So this is just a little brief check-in, to acknowledge where we're at. I might already be throwing quite a lot at you, so welcome to Resonance. And really what we'll dive into today is we'll just taking a moment to get acquainted, to introduce you to Resonance, what to expect from this space, give you a little bit of background and context as to how it came to life, define resonance, because actually a lot of people don't necessarily know what it means, or they're only familiar with one definition, but not sort of the bigger context of it, and just acknowledge kind of how these episodes are going to weave in and through. And honestly, like, I'm now longingly looking at my blanket. I'm shamelessly going to grab my blanket because probably can't turn on the heater because of all the background noise, but I can be warm and cozy. So BRB, please bear with me. So I'm back. I've got my blanket all around me. I'm very happy. And just wanted to give you a bit of a preview of what to expect from this podcast. Now, I'm going to kind of put it out there and just state that this will evolve. None of us are static beings. We change. I think if you looked back at yourself a year ago or even 10 years from now, you'll notice like just how much you have evolved and changed. And whether it's your preferences or your food or the books you read or the music you listen to or what you do in your free time, we naturally change and evolve. And this podcast is just as much of an organic kind of living, breathing, machine, whatever you want to call it, that's going to evolve as well. So what Resonance is really all about is it's a podcast that helps ambitious, corporate, women and conscious humans move from burnout to balance. There's going to be expert interviews and real life stories. And through a mix of both of those, we're going to share practical wellness tools and some heartfelt, deep conversations that support you in reclaiming your well-being so that you can lead with confidence and live with intention. And really, I'll just kind of start with a bit of a personal story here. There's a little story that inspired, I guess, kind of the core essence behind Resonance. And a lot of this will make a little bit more sense after you listen to episode 2 and 3, where I share a bit more about my personal journey. But effectively, I am known in my corporate day job as kind of like the person you speak to about health and nutrition, and kind of some of them probably think I'm a little bit woo-woo depending on the day, and that's fine. Aren't we all a little bit woo-woo in some way, shape, or form? So yeah, I had this conversation and you could just feel the charge, the energy, kind of that mindset shifting and understanding how important it is for us to take care of ourselves. And all of that was fantastic until he dropped a sentence at the end of what he was sharing. And he said, and kind of, I can't quote it word for word because it was over a year ago roughly now, but it was along the lines of, but she can do that because she doesn't work. And that just struck something for me, because I immediately saw in this reflection from this person that was sitting in front of me, believe that it's either or. Like, you can either be successful and work and have a career, or be healthy and take care of yourself and thrive. And that is what I am here to break. I want to show you really like the raw, behind the scenes, the messy, the real, the true, the honest, the authentic stories of people who are successful and take care of themselves. And I'm going to tell you something, it's not perfect. Like, life is messy. We are on this planet to learn our lessons, to go through the experiences, the ups and the downs. Like, none of us have got it figured out. No one. And if you think you do, you probably don't, but your ego's got a really good hold on you. And So sometimes I just know, because I've been in this space, it can help to hear from someone else what they've been going through, how they have struggled with burnout, or when they knew something needed to change and what they did and what their experience was, and then how they use that to integrate into their daily life. And at the same time, I also do want to expose you to incredible people like experts, facilitators, teachers, business owners that do such strong, really powerful mahi out there. Mahi means work or kind of effort in Te Reo Māori, the native language of New Zealand. And it's just to open your horizons as to what's out there, what's possible, what could perhaps ignite a spark or a fire in you on what you could experiment with, maybe what resonates with you or what doesn't, right? Because we don't know what we don't know. So my intention behind this podcast is to create a safe container, a space for you where you can explore your curiosities. You can hear other people's stories of how they have navigated the journey from burnout to balance. And you can explore different tools and modalities and wellness tips and practical advice that perhaps you may wish to experiment with in your life. And of course, I'll sprinkle in kind of a little bit of my wisdom here and there as well. Because without kind of getting ahead of myself, more on this in episodes 2 and 3, but the elevator pitch of me and my story is I was an ultimate corporate high achiever, kind of climbing the corporate ladder, got promotion after promotion, have been thriving in my business, in the business, not my business, until life literally just had to shake me up. It took a lot for me to realize that what I was doing was not sustainable. Even though I thought I had it all figured out, I really didn't. And ever since then, I've been on this journey of reclamation, of healing, of finding myself again, of coming home to myself. And so there's a lot there that will weave in through the podcast and these kind of mini solo episodes as well. So that's the gist of what you can expect here from, kind of the concrete content perspective. And to take a step back and give you a little nugget of insight as to what resonance really stands for and why resonance. Well, for so long I was just letting the name percolate in my head, like what to call this podcast. And part of me wanted to have it be on brand with Live in Health. So it's live in alignment, or, or something with leadership, or, that appeals to these busy, high achieving corporate humans. And at the end of the day, I just kept being in the field of the word resonance. It just kept coming up for me. And until one day it landed, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is what I'm bringing to life. And so resonance, we can start with a little metaphor or analogy. I can never differentiate the two. I'll probably have to look it up after this. But if you walk into a music store, and I've got this metaphor from Kate Northrup. She's my financial mentor. She's incredible with metaphor. So just wanted to give credit where credit is due. And effectively, if you walk into a music store and it's quiet, right? There's no one else there. And you strum the C string on a guitar, all of the other C strings on all the other guitars will vibrate as well. That's resonance. That's alignment. Resonance is being in truth, being in alignment with yourself, in integrity. And integrity is my number one value. It has been since childhood. And it just really felt like a powerful and potent way to bring it into this space, where we explore different ways that people came back into resonance with themselves. we explore tools and modalities and ideas or concepts that may or may not resonate with you, but it's all with the ambition to help you navigate the path to resonance with yourself. Just letting that sink in for a moment. It's one part of it. And there's another part that I'm still very much fresh into exploring right now. So resonance is also a word that comes out of the nervous system healing world. And while I have dabbled and played with the world of the nervous systems, there's still, I'm kind of like a lifelong student. There's still so much more I want to learn. I'm like, I need to dive deeper into this. But what I can share with you now is that there is a nervous system response or way of being where we are in resonance. And for those of us who aren't familiar with what the nervous system is, it's basically like our operating system. So if you think of like a car and it's got like all the, it's probably all electric now, to be honest, but like all the wiring and like this wire sends the message to that, and then this wire sends the message to that wheel, and this makes sure that when you click the right kind of indicator that the right light blinks on and off. It's like the operating system of our body, and it's our brain. And then it runs through our brainstem, through our central nervous system, so our spine, and literally like a tree, it's so beautiful. It branches out into every nook and cranny of our body. And it's a communication pathway. So it sends information from our sensory inputs like touch, taste, sound, smell, sight back to our brain for processing, and also vice versa. So it's kind of a two-way street, if you want to call it that. And our nervous system does regulate how we respond to the world around us. So I won't dive too much into the science now. Like, I don't want to keep episode 1 too heavy, because this is like enough for another 3 podcast episodes. But effectively, we do have to share this. Okay. Sorry, guys. A long story short, let me nerd out here for a moment and you'll get used to this. I am a bit of a nerd and I love to share this stuff, but I'm hopefully going to make it as easy and digestible as possible. So we've got our nervous system, right? It's kind of that super highway of communication, and that runs, it's like the machine that runs our body pretty much. And there is the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system response. So those are kind of the 2 main nervous system responses. Our sympathetic nervous system response is our flight, fight, freeze, fawn, flop. I'm pretty sure those are the 5. There might be a 6th one that keeps evolving. So basically what happens when the sympathetic nervous system is activated, it's generally when we're in a state of stress. Hello, welcome to this podcast. You're at the right place. We are experiencing some intense sensations or emotions that we just don't know how to deal with, or someone's like in our face, the boss emailed us, this deadline is like coming up in 2 hours, and all of a sudden all the financials don't make sense, right? Like, that's the sympathetic nervous system. And it's great when you're in imminent danger and you're in a dark alley and someone's out there trying to chase you down and steal your purse. Not so great when you are living in that chronic state of stress. So that's kind of enough to give you just a bit of a sense of what the sympathetic nervous system is. And then on the other side, we've got the parasympathetic nervous system. That's basically it. It's your rest and digest. It's literally where you have blood running back into your digestive system and you can process your food. You're breathing deeply, kind of belly breaths. You're really calm. So if any of you have ever been to like a yoga session and you stay for the Shavasana part and you kind of just like blissing out, that's when you're in the parasympathetic nervous system. dogs, babies, like are generally in that state. So when you see them kind of like just sleeping and chilling, you just see their belly going up and down. It's when we might be getting a really yummy massage, or perhaps you're just relaxing somewhere on the beach or reading a good book and you just really chilled out. That is the parasympathetic nervous system. And I just wanted to give you context on these two, because the bridge between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system in the nervous system healing world, as far as I understand it, is known as your range of resonance. Right? So it's how you can bounce back between one and the other in your day-to-day life. Because unfortunately, we live in a world where we've got this stress epidemic, right? I mean, people are more stressed than ever, and I could go get down a rabbit hole on this. I'll park it for another time. But effectively, none of us are not stressed. Like, if you are alive here in 2025, chances are you are experiencing some kind of stress on a daily life. And also, like, especially lately in the last few years, there's been almost this like obsession with the parasympathetic nervous system. And like, yes, we don't want to be here like stressing out in the sympathetic, but we also don't necessarily want to be in the parasympathetic all the time, because then like we just wouldn't get anything done and we would all just be blissed out, chilling, which is lovely. And there's a time and a place for that. And we need to know how to navigate between the two. And that is your range of resonance. So this is why this word, the name for this podcast felt so right. It's because calm is not the only way we want to feel. Of course, stressed is also not the way we want to feel all the time, but we want to develop tools, strategies, methodologies. We want to develop that sense of awareness and inner knowing well enough to be able to bounce between the two and like a pendulum swing and ebb and flow with whatever life brings our way. Because life will keep on lifing. One of my yoga teachers coined this expression, life's just being really lifey. And that's like, we can't influence that, right? Life will just keep on lifing. And how can you come back into resonance, come back into alignment with yourself, make your decisions from a place of resonance so that you can come closer to the person you want to be, to how you want to feel, and to the life that you want to live. So that's resonance for you. It feels quite complete to end this episode here. I hope that this has piqued your interest and has given you a bit of an insight as to what to expect from our time together. I'm always here available to chat. If you've got any suggestions, if there's, someone you would love to hear from, or a topic that, you have heard about, but it just seems so confusing because there's so much information out there. And let me just tell you one thing. Google, ChatGPT, and social media is not your source of truth, okay? Like, there is so much more that is not immediately available to your, what is this? Search on Google. So I really do encourage you, like, if there's something you're curious about and you want to see explored here, to just reach out to me. I'm super flexible and open, and really blessed to have a vast network of conscious humans that I can reach out to also draw on their knowledge banks, that many of which are not found in the internet world. So that door is always open for you. And if any of you also feel inspired and believe that you've got a story that you would love to share that resonates with this podcast, you yourself have or currently are experiencing fatigue, stress, overwork, burnout, whatever it is, My door is always open. I would love to hear your story, whether it's on the podcast or just for a chat. So we'll end it here for now. This is just the beginning. Thank you so much for being here, and I really look forward for our journey together. And just as we wrap up, I would love to invite you just to contemplate on what resonance means for you. So now that you've heard a few of the ways that it can be described and that it shows up in our day-to-day life, sort of, where do you feel resonance? Where do you feel that sense of aliveness? And how do you experience this wonderful life that we get to experience as humans, navigating between kind of the stressors of the to-do lists and the emails and the inboxes and the in-laws, and the desires to just take a breather and pause and reconnect with yourself. So would love to hear what resonance means to you, what's coming up for you right now. If you feel like sharing it with me, I'm always here. And in the meantime, have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Lots of love from me. Bye for now. Mwah. All right, listen to this. I get asked by overworked, overwhelmed, burnt out high achievers how they can release their stress without sacrificing their productivity all the time. And that is because I have been one of them. I've been able to heal my relationship with stress, all the while increasing my energy and achieve more than ever before at the same time. So for the very first time ever, I'm so excited about this. I am going to be pulling together and teaching a really small, intimate, select group of students how to detox from stress so that you can say bye-bye to burnout and overwhelm, and instead you can skyrocket your energy levels, all the while being more productive than ever before with ease. Doesn't that sound amazing? So if that's something that you're interested in, if you are done struggling with stress and overworking and you'd like to be a part of this special training, send me a message. Let's have a chat. I'd love to see you there. The views and opinions expressed by guests on Resonance are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of me, Victoria Levenberg, Live in Health, or anyone working within the Live in Health brand. This space welcomes a diversity of ideas, experiences, and stories, and part of Resonance is learning to take what aligns and gently leaving the rest. Also, while I am a national board-certified health and wellness coach and deeply passionate about well-being, this podcast is intended for educational and inspirational purposes only. Resonance does not substitute personalized medical, psychological, or therapeutic advice. Always seek guidance from qualified professionals for any physical, emotional, or mental health concerns.